Hello all, this is Jay. On this video, we are going to discuss about AWS cloud use cases and different regions and within the region availability zones and data centers. So let's start up with the use cases. So AWS empowers organizations to build sophisticated and scalable applications across the wide range of industries. So it's not only, let's say, not only IT industries, but let's say other industries like McDonald's, Netflix, and Airbnb and other industries, they uses AWS services. So it's not limited to not limited to IT industries only. And other key use cases, if we see the IT services, like they use it for backup, storage, and their domain services. So like AD servers and others, they keep their servers on AWS cloud and for website hosting and content delivery. So you can host your website and you can keep your content on cloud servers. So let's say if the startup companies, like some small companies, they don't build physical servers. So they just use the AWS services and keep their servers on it. And the one more thing is social media platform and mobile applications. So let's say if you have your own, if you have built your own mobile applications, and you need to make it available globally. At that time, you can use your servers. I mean, you can build your mobile application servers on AWS servers, AWS cloud. Sorry, and the gaming servers. You can deploy the gaming servers as well. So these are some of the use cases of AWS cloud. Now we will talk about AWS global infra. So within the cloud, right? What and all are part of it within the cloud. So let's see the first thing. So it comes as a AWS region, AWS availability zones, data centers, and edge locations, point of presence. So these are the four things which you need to know within the AWS cloud while studying any AWS cloud. So let's say I've kept the link which shows, like, different regions, what and all regions are available, and within the region how many availability zones are there. So you let me open this link and show you. Here you can see different zones, like here the region, and here like the North America, it will move, like, if the way you change it, the region. Here let's say South America, Europe, all these regions are there. So let's say here, and here you can see the availability zones and their launch date as well. So that way we'll see all the regions here. So I think the first only here you will see the six availability zones. We'll discuss that in detail. Now coming back to a slide, here the services by region. That is something we'll discuss later in this video. So let's say AWS region. What is AWS region? So it's a physically isolated geographic area within the AWS cloud. So AWS cloud has built a physically isolated area, and they have kept it as a region. Like let's say you in US there are multiple regions where their presence is there. Same way in Asia Pacific, and then Africa region, and all these regions has a their AWS cloud services. So let's say each region has a cluster of data centers, and within the region. So this is how it goes. Like within the physical geographic area, there will be a multiple regions. So each region will have a availability zones within the region, and Each availability zones will have multiple data centers within the one availability zones. So one region has multiple availability zones, and uh, further multiple availability zones has multiple data center within the zones. So this is the basic definitions you can say. Here is an example. So let's talk an example of I would say Asia Pacific. First thing we'll check the Mumbai, right? So this is the Asia Pacific is a physical area, and the Mumbai is a region, geographic area, and Mumbai region. So if you see on the right side, Mumbai region has this code. So each region is has its own code number. So let's say Mumbai it has a AP South one. And now if we talk about Tokyo, Tokyo has a AP Northeast one, and Sydney, see it has its own code. So each region has its own code. Now if we move next, availability zones. Now the definition of availability zones is like physically separated locations within a single, each available AWS regions. So let's say each region has physically separated locations, availability zones. Now each region has minimum 3 and maximum 6 availability zones, right? Generally, every region has a 3 availability zones, and some of the region has maximum 6. There are availability zones which has a 4 locations, 4 separate availability zones, some regions. Now each AZ, right? I would go with AZ. Each AZ has one or more data centers with a redundant power and network. So let's say the power redundancies is there, network redundancy, they are all separate, and all of this are connected with a high bandwidth link to provide low latency. Here is an example. See, within this Asia Pacific Mumbai region, there are three zones, availability zones. So let's say zone one has a, it goes with the extension only. So I'll just click on the, here if you see on the right side, AP South 1 was the code of Mumbai region. Now you will see the same code, but you see the extension A. Here you see the B and C. These are just a extension for availability zones. So now if we go next, here I have tried explaining into a simple table. So let's say Asia Pacific is a physical area. Within that, Mumbai is a region in the geographic location of the region. Now AP South. AP South is the AWS region code. This is the code. And as I mentioned, it AZ availability zones separate data center. So each zone has a multiple data centers. Let me show you here. So if you see on the right side, this is Mumbai region. On the left side, multiple availability zones, and each availability zone has a multiple data center in it. Hope this was clear. If not, feel free to comment. I'll explain further. Now, if we go next, this is another example of a US region. So you can see here the North California, and on the left side there are multiple availability zones and the data center within each availability zones. If you see here, all these are connected with each other. Now if we go next, so a point of presence. So I'll just explain this as in a definition only. AWS has a 400 plus point of presence, and 20 plus mid-tier regional cache in 90 plus cities across the 40 plus countries. Primary purpose is to deliver content to end user with low latency. So this is basically, you can say, a entry point of each user to connect into AWS cloud. Now here it's a small diagram which shows how the regional caches are there. Now we have a link. I have added the link. I'll also paste it in a, description. This shows the all the point of presence. Let me open it. Here, if you see the point of presence, let me scroll it down. So let's say starting with North America, you'll see the different areas like New York, San Francisco, all these cities, and the point of presence numbers you will see. So same way you can see the Middle East, Africa, Asia Pacific. So if you talk about within India, you see the multiple cities. So these are point of presence detail. You can find it here. Now if we come back to our next slide, so let's say you may get a question how to choose a region. So while choosing a region, you need to keep multiple things in mind. So we'll go through one by one. So let me start with the first one, and the first one is choose a region which is closest to user. So let's say your user base, like you have a users who are you going to use the applications are in India. So then it's a good idea to keep your region as a India only. So if you have a user base who are most of your users are going to use your application in US only, so then keep a region as a US. So this is the first thing. It will give a low latency, and the response will be much faster. So this is the first thing. Now let's talk about the second thing. Now compliance, right? Compliance with the data governance and legal. So some countries has a rule that their data must stay within the same location. So let's say banking data in India should stay in India only. So that way, Europe has its own rule. So that is also we need to consider. Now, if we talk about this thing, third thing, that is availability services. So let's say availability services within the region. Not every AWS region has the services for all. Not all the AWS services are available on each region. So that is also we need to consider. And the fourth one is the cost optimization. The price. That's a most thing. So that's a price. I mean, no, each region has its different prices. So let's say for EC2 and S3, it may not be the same for all region, right? And the last thing is disaster recovery. So like multiple region strategy, which is advanced use. Let's say you can use one region as in India and as a backup region as in Singapore. So that is how you can choose a region. So these are the couple of things you need to keep in mind while choosing your region. So hope I was able to explain all this in a detail. If this video was helpful, please give it a like. It may be a small thing for you, but it will be a big help for me. Thank you.